Okay, I'm just gonna get a little connection happening here. A little audio. Because we're gonna turn the Bluetooth on. Hello. Welcome. I mean, every time we start class, movement class, we gotta pause. We're like, what kind of spring are you in? Are you in the cold, damp spring? Are you in the sizzling hot spring like myself? And what does the body need? What is it calling for? Yes, so kind of meeting ourselves with where we are and listening in. I thought we'd start on the floor today, so I'm gonna adjust the camera here and come on down and come into seated position. I got something under my bum there. Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, it just came from like a natural beauty care store. They're like, you have to try all the perfumes. I was like, no. So covered in perfume right now. They were lovely. They were lovely. Everybody likes to smell good. So there might be some more sneezes in my future. But anywho, life in the Medina. Let's go. So we're coming down onto the floor, a little bit yin surface. The place where I am, it's hot. It's dry. And it's in the afternoon time. So it's kind of more of that energy of like, ooh, power down, take a nap, chill it out. And we come down to the yin surface, to the earth's surface, make some connections there. So my body's like, can't we just lay down? I don't know, I think we need to move a little. So my compromise is seated position. Yes. Connected to the earth and ready to move. So let's take a couple of breaths here. Start to tune in to the feelings in the body, what's arising, the cycles, right? The time cycles where we are in the season of the climate, in the season of your own body, where you are just in the mind state. Allowing yourself to become a little bit more present into the moment. We start noticing places in the body where we are feeling fluid and flowy, places in the body that have little tension patterns. If it's your morning, it might be a little bit of something that you woke up with or throughout the day. Could be like the work from yesterday showing itself. So don't hesitate to add little micro movements that explore, that release, and give us a little idea of where we could go in our practice. One more breath. And let's give the legs a stretch. Hands can come behind for support, and we start with some gentle windshield wipers. Some wiggly movements of the legs. We love a good therapeutic movement through the joint spaces. Wiggle a little bit more. Nice, come down to the feet, squeeze the toes, stretch the toes, stretch in between each of the toes, make a little space squeeze and stretch. between the toes. Squeeze and stretch between the toes. Sometimes you have to like look at the toes, smile at them, coax them to move. I've met so many people who have arrived to midlife, to their elder years, and they think it's totally okay to have loss of sensation in the feet, in the toes, like that's something normal. Absolutely not. We want full sensation. Exercising those toes. Let's start flexing and pointing. I was talking with somebody today who has some bone spurs on their heels, on the bottom of the heels, so it's causing them some pain, and they decided that their solution would be to wear like a 3.5 inch wedge heel. And they're like, I don't have pain on the heels anymore. Oh no. No, that is robbing Peter to pay Paul. I think that's the same. So we're flexing and pointing here, but no, oh. It's not really the choice that we want to make. So now, terrible amount of weight onto the ball mounts of the feet. So these simple exercises, you cannot do enough of them. Let's make circles. Circles in the same direction. Feel ankles, calves, obviously tops and bottom of feet, but all the way up. Feel how we're moving in and around the knees and the thighs, up into the hip socket, and in the opposite direction. And then we're ready, we're gonna separate the feet a little and make circles in opposite. Okay, you might be getting some sounds. Opposite direction, clickety clackety. Start to feel warmth, movement, little bit fluidity. We're taking that those interstitial spaces, moving from more solid states of fluid, like gel-like, into more fluid states. Nice. Now come back to those windshield wipers and feel like you're fluffing through the ankles, all those little bones held in sacks of fluid, and you're just wiggling that fluid around and fluffing those bones, fluffing the joint, fluff between all the joints of the toes. Like you gotta visualize it a little bit for it to manifest. We're gonna come up to the knees and let's do some knee pull-ups. So squeezing the quadricep muscles and releasing. The kneecap pulls up and down. We're doing the same thing here, moving fluid around the meniscus, patella. Try a few. That's what I try to do, about 20 those. You can do a little faster. And then let's do a little added massage. So right, that pressure point right in the center of the palm. It's gonna trace around the knees. It doesn't matter what direction, because we're gonna eventually reverse it, and feel that warmth. Feel that connection through the movement, kinetic connection. Let's go in the opposite direction. Massaging the knees. I love this movement. And opposite on the back. So to pick a direction, doesn't matter because we're going to switch. Think about that center of your palm. massaging the back of the knee. And let's go in the opposite direction. Nice. And for the patella itself, you can use your thumbs and your fingers gently to ease the patella in one direction and use the fingers to move it back in the other. Right, so it has this little ligament attaching it, so just kind of like feel like this disc going back and forth. If you have ever dislocated your patella, this might freak you out. And this might also be a little bit rehabilitative because look, it's attached. It's not gonna float off. You might feel like some kind of crunchiness in there. You may feel some of that crunchiness. Move on, right? Now, use the fingers to move patella from side to side. Again, if you've ever had any knee injuries or knee surgery, this might bug you out a little bit, might weird you out. So go slowly. I promise you, it's all attached. Just getting, our bodies love to just store things in the joint spaces. Give it a little rub again. Feel that happy knee. Let's do that on the opposite side, so front and back. A little patella massage. I don't know, I'm doing somewhere between 5 and 10 in each direction. And now I'm gonna go side to side. I'm doing a lot of walking, so uphill and downhill, so it's not real crunchy on my knees right now, but times where I've been in colder climates, doing more sitting. It's like crunchiness. Ooh, give it a little rub, a little swirl. Happy. This is a movement from Pavamukhanasana, from the joint purification practices to activate that fascia on the back of the knee, which can sometimes get really tight. So I'm seated right on the edge of a pillow to just give me a little bit of space, a little bit of lift through the hips. We're gonna clasp the hands just above the back of the knee on the right leg. And then we're gonna bring the knee in towards the trunk of the body and gliding just above the ground, outstretch the leg. You can do about 5 of those. So we come in, and so when you're in this outstretched position, you can feel that little tug on the backs of the knees. And sometimes that fascia back there gets really tight. You might have that foot flexed. And more of those. Nice. Give it a little wiggle. Do a couple knee pull-ups and compare the two legs. See if you can feel anything. We can do that on the side. So we're clasping the hand just above the knee, drawing knee in towards the chest, stretching back out and having a little stretch in the back of the thigh. I did more than 5 there. Release, couple knee pull-ups. And let's pause, close the eyes, feel from the knees to the ankles, to the feet, to the tips of the toes. What can you observe? I think we're ready to move up towards the hips. We're gonna pick up the right leg. And we've got some options. We could hold this leg outside. We can bring this right arm from the inside, holding this leg up. And then we wanna make a circle. In the hip socket. Opposite direction. right? We could wrap around. You can bring that foot into the crease of the elbow as well, rocking from side to side. Sliding off this pillow, holding in the center, taking a breath. And then we're gonna come into something of a half lotus, something that gives us this rotation unique to being in seated meditative poses. And then we can use that little wiggly movement to ease that hip open. Maybe that knee towards the floor. This is a series we can use to cultivate Padmasana, lotus pose. Right? This could also be down towards the knee, below the knee. Puts a little pressure on the knee for me. We could do something like a Janu Sirsasana where that puts on the inside of the thigh. We're still doing something of this compound movement. Holding. When you're ready, releasing, right? So we need this certain amount of mobility in the outside of the knee to do specifically lotus pose, to be comfortable in seated meditative postures. And the only way to build that range of motion is to do these movements. Let's pull the kneecaps up and down. Give it a few windshield wipers. And pause again, do a comparison of the two legs. We might be looking at physical things, we might also be just analyzing for flow of energy, openness. Let's try the other side. Circles of the hip. In the opposite direction. Cradling and rocking. Brief hold here. Big breath in. Exhale, half lotus, that ankle draws upwards. Towards the crease of the thigh, we start easing that knee towards the floor. Oh, Lordy, is that tight? Smiling, breathing. And holding, take a breath. Breath in. Exhale, release. We give more love to the knees. They sure are working hard in them. Right? Does this knee pull up get at that ACL ligament there, holding the knee into place? Maybe not specifically, but it's adjacent. So, and any time that we're moving around in a joint space and increasing that fluid flow, we are going to benefit all aspects of that joint, including all of the things that attach there that give that joint mobility. Coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. And let's do a few different movements from here, starting with some pelvic tilting. So something about, the format of this class, as I've been teaching it, Heal Your Body, we draw from many modalities. One of them are the womb yoga practices that are found in Yoni Shakti. Yeah, there's plenty of those practices that we have been incorporating for months, and actually now over a year. So as we're relating to the curriculum that we're studying, what we're engaging with, when we do these types of movements, honestly, the whole of the format of the class is womb yoga. We are benefiting the health of the reproductive system. Releasing tension in the pelvic bowl, helping our bodies release stored anything, narrative, junk, experiences. Like now circles, churning around. Depending on where you are in cycles of the pelvic bowl, feeling orientations of the organs, feeling, let's go opposite direction. What feels good? Me, I had something with some sneaky cream in it yesterday. I don't do dairy. And so it's pretty like bloated in there. My intestine, not happy. So I'm feeling it while I'm doing this movement, that tightness, that constriction, and it feels good. Let me move. Let me help my body do whatever it's trying to do to support basically eating something that it has decided is poison. Let's enjoy a little forward fold, lots of options. You can clasp hands around the toes and come forward. We can hit the ankles, be somewhere along the calves. We could open the feet like a book, fold forward. We could turn the hands inside, take a nice big breath and extend with elbows, fire face stretch style. Breathe deeply. Next inhale, back up to the center. We're gonna bring first leg, we're gonna stretch them, make someone chill like bears. And enjoying another movement from the pages of womb yoga. Bringing similar, so bringing into kind of the seated squatted position. And whatever amount of pelvic tilt is available to you. Me, I like have to have that pillow underneath because to go back on the tailbone doesn't feel good, but I like this position. Inhale. If you ever wanted to moon bathe the yoni, this could be a position that you enjoy that with. All right, moving to thoracic spine as well. Inhale as you're tilting forward. Be gentle. Last one here. Give a little stretch to the legs and wiggle. And we pause. And we feel the whole of the lower body here. Moving, tingling, flowing. Maybe there's some places that are not moving, tingling, and flowing. We're going to take those into account as well. We're going to fold back up into Sukhasana, easy pose. And let's entertain some exploration in the upper body. So we're going to start with the fist with the thumbs inside, give a squeeze and a flex of the fingers. Like we did with the toes. Give it a nice stretch to the joint of the thumb. Really dynamic joint. And then give it some good shakes. Making a fist with the thumb on the inside, we're moving up to the wrists, up and down. Circle. In the opposite direction. Shake it out. Sometimes I have to do this move, I like shake it out in front, and then kind of shake around the whole shoulder girdle. We got one more, this time palms are open, fingers are flexed. And we're headed up and down with the wrists. And shake it out. And take a rest. Completely relax the arms. Take your mind to the wrists and feel wrists, palms, fingers, digits of fingers. Ready for elbow movement, make a fist with the thumb on the inside. A little circular movement and a shake on the way up. In the opposite direction. Shrug the shoulders up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Shake it out. Rest. Feel and connect elbows to tips of fingers, and then we're ready for shoulder movement. Small shoulder circle. Maybe the mouth is slightly open, right? Or just relaxing the jaw while we move. Computer posture has us keeping our shoulders so high up towards the ears. And when I move my shoulders, I like to practice like relaxing the jaw. Let's go in the opposite direction. Gentle smile on the face at the least. Relaxing the facial muscles. Oh, let's see, do I still remember? It takes 43 muscles to keep a straight face or to frown. I think it's like 7 or 10 muscles to smile. So you're relaxing when you smile. I might need a second set in both directions for these shoulders. Gentle smile. And shrug shoulders, shake out arms. Invent your own shakes and wiggles. Take a breath for rest. Let's go. Big shoulder circle. We're going to trace a circle with the elbows. Over, open, back, and down. Inhale. Open. Opposite direction. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Wiggle in a way that feels good. Just a little opposite wiggle. Shrugging the shoulders, shaking out. Taking a breath. Feel shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers. And lastly, come up to neck movement. Inhale, chin back. Exhale, chin towards the chest. Super slow. Relaxing facial muscle. Nice. We'll do about 5 of each. We're going to go right and left movement. Super slow. Easy going. Never forcing the body to move. We want the body to feel that sense of safety, of knowing that it can relax, open up, release. We move the joint spaces, we're affecting the whole body. When we move in and around shoulders, neck, jaw, we are helping to release in the pelvic bowl. Let's bring it on to ear to shoulder. This lateral flexion, this was pretty tight on my body today. So I've got my mouth slightly open, jaw relaxed. Don't really have a concern for what I look like in the practice. Nice sense of relaxation. Up to center, tuck the chin, inhale, up to the shoulder, down to the middle, over to the opposite shoulder, inhale, exhale, in, good. Oh, definitely relax the jaw here. We're back to center. And slowly coming up. Go ahead and stretch your legs. Take a moment to feel neck all the way down, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers. You don't have to stretch your legs, but I'm just exploring this tension in upper thoracic spine. I wanted to add a couple of movements today in honor of the jaw. Classic yogic movements from the same set of practices, Pavanuttanasana. Here, what we're gonna do is drop, come a little closer so you can really see the silliness here. So you're gonna drop the jaw and give yourself an underbite. And then just up and down like 10 times. And then like do some raspberries. No, I'm just kidding, gives you a brighter smile, right? Same thing. We're gonna drop the jaw down, give ourselves an underbite, and then we're just gonna go from side to side. And it needs to be really easy going. And then blow some raspberries. And then tap, tap, tap. Start the chin. Oh my God, so much perfume. Tap, 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 like tap, tap, tap. And then we gotta get to the real kind of tough part where we got that big, thick old muscle right here and the top of the joint. I want to get back here at the sphenoid. Tap, 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 tap. Get some wiggle. I like to tap small intestine 19 right at the, right here, the little divot in the ear, at the top of the jaw where it meets the ear. And then, right there, let's tap the temple. Tap the eyebrow. Tap the forehead. Tap the hairline. Might as well keep going. Tapping bladder channels. Keep tapping at the crown. Tap the occiput. Tap the head where the head meets the neck. I also like to tap here, the stomach. Was it like 17? No, I can't be 17. Three's right here. Like right in the. Actually, that's triple heater. Triple heater 17. I think that's it. Yeah, I like to add sounds. Just intuitive. Come down the sides of the neck. And now tap the collarbones. Oh, so nice. Tap around the collarbone. Tap in the collarbone. Might as well tap lung points over there. This is kind of when I'm practicing by myself. I just start with something and then it sort of evolves into the next thing. I might tap do a little sternum tapping. I just want my body to be the guide, like, where to next? Nice. Let's pause there for a moment of observation. Stretch the legs if that feels like a nice thing to do. Come back into that little kind of squatty position, but this time with the hands behind. Let's do a little bit of internal rotation here. Mine's like not very dynamic at the moment. Am I coming a little dynamism? Yeah, pillow's not working from here. Internal rotation of the hip. Starting to get somewhere. Which means we're ready for external rotation of the head. That one come to one side, take a little forward fold with it. And we'll spin around over to the other side. And take a little forward fold with that. Alternate sides. Figure out how you'd like to breathe. Is it inhale and exhale as you fold? Inhale in the center. As you follow. Oh, last one more each side. Calming back to center. And if you were seated on something, you might want to find again that seated heel is coming to wide leg stance. And here in wide leg stance, let's give a little movement towards the right side. Forward, feet are flexed, breathing. Bringing it back on up and over to the opposite side. Next, inhale back up. Exhale to the middle. Lots of options here to keep the back flat. You even have like a block out in front. Still doing womb yoga. I need to make our way back up, coming into side bend. Inhale, stretch out, exhale, top of the thigh or just to the inside, reaching for opposite foot. And then back up. Exhaling to the opposite side. Each side again, inhale. Exhale. Breathe as you hold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale. Back down. Still in wide leg stance. Bring left leg in towards the midline. Janushirsasana variation. Got that right leg out, so right leg out, left arm up. Again, options. Top of the thigh, inner thigh. Reaching for those toes. Breathing. Inhaling back up. And down. Come back to your wide leg stance. And take a little forward fold. Inhale back up. Right leg comes in towards the midline. Left leg is out, right arm comes up. Exhale. Side bend. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Let's stretch both legs. Symmetry, Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Give a little sweep under the flesh. Sits bones nice and rooted on the floor. Feet are flexed. Inhaling, stretching up. Knees can have a micro bend. Reaching. Breathing and holding. You can be to the sides also. Exhale back up. Let's stay here. This is called sthiti. Starting position. We're gonna bring the right foot over the left from Radichyasana, it's a seated twist. We could wrap with the, so right arm, right leg, left arm. Backhand pushes the chest forward. Turn towards the space behind you. Other options, you could wrap with the elbow. You could bring this arm to the outside. Which one of those gives you the most accessibility of the breath? We're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale. Find that stiffy, that starting position. Bring the left leg over. Wrap with the right arm, turning space behind. So it's always opposite arm and leg. Take breath in. Exhale. Back to center. So still some of these delicious springtime poses where we are squeezing the organs, helping with this natural detoxification process of spring. We've not lost sight of our springtime practice. We're gonna take a scooch forward, come down onto the backs, draw the knees in towards the chest, get that leg. We're gonna do another yoga practice right from the pages of Yoga Shakti. Simple Yoni Mudra. We bring the thumbs touching, index fingers for the downward pointing triangle. And we're gonna place that downward. So we're gonna be doing Sakta Bandhasana bridge pose. So you can bring the feet in line with the hips, pretty close to the bum. And we're gonna bring this downward facing triangle right onto the womb space. And breathe into pelvic bowl. Now from here, we're gonna lift up into the bridge pose and lift that triangle, gaze through the triangle, coming overhead with your lift. And then as you exhale, look through the triangle and bring it back to the womb space. Inhale. Exhale. Have that little drishti, that little visual connection of the triangle. And exhaling down. 2 more times. And come back to resting with simple Yoni Mudra. Onto the space and breathe. Any sort of body can benefit from the practice of womb yoga. Moving fluid in and around the organs. Moving all the auxiliary anatomy around the pelvic bowl. Enlivening attachment sites. While you're here, take your mind to the jaw. Breathe into the pelvic bowl and the jaw at the same time. Release the hands and let the body come into zigzag twists. Inhale in the center. Exhale, opposite direction. Highlighting twists amongst the important springtime practices. Cleansing around the little crevices of intestine. Drawing out stagnant things from in between the spinal vertebra. Activating liver, gallbladder. We're going to roll to a side. You can actually just come down into your belly, like me, I just got to do 180. So these therapeutic poses from the belly are incredible womb yoga poses. We use these in yoga therapy for all sorts of things of reproductive system, pelvic bowl, it's kind of gross anatomy stuff, tail, bone, low back pain. So we could spend a whole nother hour just playing in these poses. But let's come into the Sphinx pose. These are all resting poses as well. So deep yin generating poses. Breathe into Sphinx, elbows under the shoulders, pushing into the floor, lifting up, and way easier to hold. Crocodile pose. Elbows come onto the floor. You can play with the alignment of the elbows. Closer to you, you'll feel it more in the low back. Farther away, a little bit more upper spine. Elbows separated away from spinal column and elbows close together, closer to spinal column. Hang out here. Indulging in the enjoyment of this pose. Supporting alignment of the spinal vertebra. Circulation in pelvic bowl. Relaxation through the sacrum. Could be potentially tough time for lumbar. Like lumbar may or may not like these back bends. That's there, so every pose has some, place in the body where it's benefiting and some place where it might be actually adding compression. These poses are really helpful for me with my posterior sacral tension, especially in and around the tailbone. And also what I've been experiencing in the last few years, which is tightness in the hip flexors, is actually just over recruitment from the hip flexors and not enough effort from the glutes and hamstrings. So this is like, ooh, give me some space. Take a big breath in. Slowly releasing. And we're gonna put a little bow on this whole practice with a good little rest here in Adva Asana. So stretch the arms forward. Thumbs are touching, palms face down, ultimate yin here. Forehead rests on the floor, nose smushes. Big deep breaths to the back body and melt. Melt into the floor. You may find at some point in time that you adjust your forehead position because your spine has lengthened. Breathe into all the vertebrae, all the spaces in between. I could stay in that pose for a while. I want to start moving towards a child's pose coming out of this. So I start to wiggle. I'm going to bend the knees and flap my fishtail from side to side. Gonna wake up the low back as I join before I move. Also back in that therapeutic movement, internal rotation. Ready for that child's pose. I can use my elbows also, push myself up. And back into child's pose. Take your time, stretch the low back. With the delicious full circle. We come back to seated. Feel into the body. Observe head to toe, what's feeling different, activated. As we consider our next step in our day, in this moment, is it time for more rest? Was this the rest we needed? We're gonna go into the next thing. We're gonna do some breathing exercises, some seated meditation, standing meditation. Is it a time for a nice long Yoga Nidra? Ah, this felt great. Thank you for joining me for a practice today. I hope it was nourishing for you as well. And I will see you next week for movement practice. Maybe see you Sunday for class. Thank you.